I'm going to start as Muslims doing the name of God in Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters and friends, I greet you with the warmest Islamic greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Which means may the peace and blessings of God be upon you all. Before I start my presentation, I want to mention something about Egypt. I think it's only right to mention something about Egypt. I just want to proclaim and express myself in the public atmosphere that I think it is very important for us to understand that everyone who was supporting Egypt, and I assume people of conscience were supporting Egypt all around the world, which includes everyone in this room. What we have to understand is that it's not over. Getting rid of a dictator doesn't mean you got rid of a dictatorship. There's a lot more to go, so the hopes and prayers of all of us must strengthen and heighten, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Egyptian people, whoever they are. Mubarak was an interesting chap. For 30 years he was a brutal dictator. I had many friends who actually went through his torture chambers. Some of my friends got their bones electrocuted and their testicles electrocuted. So it's not an easy thing to be an activist or someone who wants justice, accountability and transparency in the Muslim world. And it's quite funny when people say, look at the Muslim world, you Muslims are so backward. Well, actually Muslims are not backward at all. I think it's because we've had dictators that basically have instilled fear in the hearts of the Muslims. And what's quite unique about Egypt, it has shown to us the Quran, the message of the Quran, because, you know, it's easy to enforce liberal democracy at the bar of a gun, to have jihadist rhetoric. It's easy to talk about this ism and that ism and talk about politics. But I think the Quran manifested itself in Egypt, which was, God does not change the state of a people unless they change what's within themselves. And the Egyptian people, what did they do? They said, we're not going to be fearful anymore. I'm not going to be scared. We are conscious of no one but God. And I think the Egyptian people showed this, which is essentially one of the messages of the Quran, to empower people. To say, look, don't always start hoping and praying, but rather if you want change, you change yourself. This is what the Quran says. So that's my 10 pence worth on the Egyptian issue. My prayers are with the Egyptian people. And everyone who's oppressed around the world. The Quran, the divine message. An interesting book. It's a book that over 1.6 billion people read, over 1.6 billion people adhere to, and over 1.6 billion people love and would actually die for. The Quran is the basis for the Islamic worldview. It forms the foundations of Islamic thinking, Islamic civilization, Islamic spirituality, and everything that you see manifest, come into being, into the public atmosphere with regards to Muslim society and Muslims as individuals. This is why the Quran is a very special book. Now, the main message of the Quran is this concept called Tawheed. It's a very simple, profound concept. Tawheed, which is the Arabic word which essentially means the oneness of God. So essentially the Quran is telling us to affirm and actualize the oneness of God. Very simple, profound philosophy. We consider this to be the intellectual and conceptual seed that once implanted in society and in the individual, it grows and it blossoms into something which we would call a just, unique, harmonious society and a just, unique and harmonious individual. Just this simple, profound concept called the oneness of God, Tawheed. Now this oneness of God actually means that we also see God's oneness with regards to His Lordship, who He is as a creator and sustainer of the universe. So we don't say things like, there was one creator for the universe, and then there was another designer for the universe, and then there's someone who's managing it within the universe at the moment. This doesn't affirm the oneness of God, meaning He doesn't have opposites. And He doesn't have partners with regards to His lordship and creative abilities. So this is a very, very important concept that Muslims like to talk about and like to live out in their life. So we affirm God's oneness and we actualize God's oneness with regards to His lordship. And this is indicated in the first chapter of the Quran, when the Quran says, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises, all grateful thanks are due to God, the Lord of everything that exists. The word the Rabb, Lord here in the Arabic language, indicates the one that sustains, the one that cares, the one that manages, the one that created the universe, solely. So this is how we affirm His oneness from a lordship creative perspective. Also, we affirm God's names and attributes with regards to the uniqueness, and we see it via the prism of oneness. What does this mean? Whatever we attribute to God, or that has been attributed by God to Himself in the Quran, we view it in light of لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing like unto Him. There is nothing like Him. He is totally unique. So when we say God is the loving, in Arabic, al-wudud, which means excessively loving, we don't say He's loving just like the way I love my father. Because we don't make His attributes in an anthropomorphic sense. We don't bring it down to the material world. Because we know God transcends this. So when we could appreciate His loving nature, but you know what? In reality, we can't fully understand His loving nature because it transcends anything we could describe love. This is why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in the prophetic tradition that God's love is greater than the love of a mother to her child. Now think about this tradition. Can you find any greater love than the mother to her child? You can't think of any greater love. So it's indicating that it transcends any type of love that we understand. So when we attribute things to God in terms of who He is, we see that in light of oneness and uniqueness also. And this again is in agreement with the second verse of the first chapter of the Quran. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. The most gracious, the most merciful, the master of the day of judgment. Affirming His names and attributes via the prism of oneness, the unique. And most significantly, which resonates in the Quran, is that we see God's oneness with regards to worship. Because the logical conclusion of that there is a creator for the universe is that you must worship Him. This is only a natural indication. This is something that is a logical conclusion. If God does exist, if a creator does exist, then He should be worshipped. This is a natural logical conclusion. But as a result, we see that as Muslims in the Quran affirms this must be done with regards to singling Him out in worship. So we don't worship the material world, because we were created with material things too. We don't worship a tree, a man, a book. We don't need any intermediaries like a pope or a wall or a stone. Rather, we single God out solely with regards to worship and to asking for help. This is why the third verse of the first chapter says, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. It is you, talking to Allah. It is you we single out solely for worship, and it is you we single out solely for help. Now you may think, why am I talking about this? Well, the reason is very important because the whole of the Quran revolves around these pillars, these conceptual pillars. God's oneness with regards to His lordship, God's oneness with regards to His names and attributes, and God's oneness with regards to His worship. Because the Quran's main focus with regards to the purpose of humanity is that we have been created for nothing else apart from worshipping Him. Now this worship is not a European-centric, semantic type of worship, which is you go to church on Sunday, you do your stuff, then you do whatever, anything else you want the rest of the week. We don't have this concept of render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, render unto God what is God's. Rather, worship here is a comprehensive term in Islam, which means to know, to love, and to serve God. So that means even when a Muslim goes to the toilet, when they wash themselves, that's an act of worship. Because we kill our ego, we break our ego, we remove our arrogance, and we say, what does God want me to do in this situation? So we don't refer to our nafs in Arabic, our ego, we refer to Allah. This is affirming the oneness of God. Similarly, even when we get married, what does God want me to do when I get married? How does He want me to treat another human being? Because I don't know, God knows. God is all wise, I am nothing in contrast to that. So this is why we mention this, because it's very important to understand the message of the Quran. Because it's very important to understand the Quran this way, because sometimes the Quran is termed as a legal book. Because when you see Muslims, they're always very legalistic. They put some stuff over their head, sometimes they may cover their face, they may not shake hands with the other gender, or they wear funny skirts, or they grow beards. What's the big deal? Even goats have beards. Yeah? They do all these really funny things. And it's very legal, very mechanistic. Even the way they pray is like, put your hands up, put your hands here, bow, go up, go on the floor. It's all mechanistic. These people are just like legal jurists, you know? And I'm going to demystify that. Actually, the Quran doesn't really say do and do not. Very rarely does it say do and do not. The Quran is a very emotive spiritual book that uses emotion and uses concepts to attract people to a certain idea. This is the Quran. It couches the language in a particular way to resonate in one's soul, to get them to agree with what the Quran wants them to do. And this is very important for us to understand. For instance, when the Quran talks about fasting, and we all know from this verse I'm going to mention, fasting is obligatory. From a legalistic perspective, Muslims have to fast. But it doesn't say fast or you're in trouble, full stop. Next page, different theme, different concept. It doesn't do that. How does the Quran do this? يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب للذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Listen to this in English. Oh, you who believe, raising the status of the believer to someone of a believer. God is telling you, the speck of dust amongst the ocean of dust in the universe, that you're a believer. Amanu, someone who has a contract, a trust with God. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. Fasting has been prescribed for you. In the Arabic, kutiba here is in the passive form, meaning it's an easy thing. It's not a hard thing to do. Then the Quran continues, like it was prescribed for those before you, saying, don't worry about it. Lots of other spiritual traditions have done it before. It works. It's good for you. You're not on your own. So encouraging you to do something. Then how does it end? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. In order for you to attain God consciousness, the ideal, the objective, the ultimate goal, the high status of a believer. So from this, the scholars have said, you must fast. But look at the way the Quran addresses the human being in a way that really plays with his emotions and allows the concept to resonate in his soul. Oh, you believe. Wow, I'm a believer. God is raising my status. Fast. Made it sound easy. It's been done before. It's worked. You're not alone. Okay, I'm not alone. And you're going to attain God consciousness. I'm going to be conscious of you. I'm going to fast then. Do you see the point here? This is the power of the Quran. And even the Quran always mentions and really tries to ponder, make one ponder and think and reflect. This is why some of the ulama, some of the scholars in our tradition, they would say the Quran is a very imposing book. It was to impose itself on humanity. Yes. And with the sword in the left hand. When you kidding? Intellectual sword, yeah? The point is,